This is phase 2 of our posture mechanics training program. We're progressing from phase 1 after being able to do phase 1 3 times a week and 8 reps. We're adding some volume in this program, so we're going 3 sets of 10 repetitions, and we're going to look to build to 3 days a week as well. In this one, we're looking to get more intramuscular coordination between muscle groups and start to separate pieces and ask things to do their job independently. The first exercise in our phase 2 posture mechanics training program is a lock neck body turn. So with the anchor point slightly lower, we're going to push the hands together to get a nice reference point for the upper body, and now we're going to turn from just the waist down. So dig some space out there with your elbow. The shoulders are retracted a bit. And you may have problems with your posture, so there may be an asymmetrical difference here, like we may be able to rotate one side better than the other. So we're not looking to push a range of motion. We're hoping to get to this end range here, right? If it gets a bit sticky, we're going to hold on to that spot and hopefully open up that range of motion through in-range isometrics. So we'll do this in all 4 cardinal directions. So now we'll turn east. We'll see the separation between upper and lower body. Lower body stays put, chin stays down, anchor point is in line with the iron neck. We're looking south now, which is always tougher to do, so the chin's really our point of attention here. It stays down, back and the neck stays really long. And taking a range of motion that we can control, right, that's comfortable and pain-free. Last one here, working isometrically now on her left side of her neck, and then she'll work concentrically against that. Second exercise in our phase 2 posture mechanics training program is going to be a look left and a look right with an isometric W hold. So as we back away from the anchor point, we'll begin north and we'll do all 4 cardinal directions. We're going to start in our scarecrow here, and then we're going to rotate up. Right, so this may change and be different for different people, and that's all right. So in between now, what she's going to do is she's going to hit a look left and look right, and she's going to try and look at this hand, keeping the shoulders down and back, nice and long on top, and then she'll look to the other hand. We'll spin and look this way. So now we're looking east, and we're doing the same thing. We want a nice straight line between the humerus, so the big bone in the arm. Chin stays nice and level. Looking south now, this will be pretty challenging for the hands. Watch out for the band as you spin. Chin stays down, back and the neck stays really long in here. If you need to take a break, you can put the hands down in between, right? But we come back into this nice straight line. We're going to rotate the knuckles up towards the ceiling there, right? And should be working quite a bit of shoulder complex here. And then we'll get our last direction, which if that's north is west. Really just trying to look into that hand or even beyond the hand. So aiming for something just outside the knuckles here. The third exercise in our posture mechanics training program is a protraction and retraction with lumbar traction. So we'll want to lower the anchor point just a bit because we are going to sort of bend at the knee and sink our hips down just a bit. So we want the anchor point to be in line with the iron neck, keep the band nice and flat. So as she backs away from the anchor point now, and you can take off a little bit more than you would usually because you're going to go forward and backwards, so the tension will vary. So as her head goes forward, her tailbone is also going to come forward, right? And we're looking to get really rounded through the middle of the back. And then as the head comes back, the tailbone's going to come back. And we're going to retract with the scapula, using the whole posterior chain. What we should feel is a pretty good stretch, either in between the shoulder blades and or through the thoracic spine, which is just below them. This tractioning works the best when we're looking at the anchor point, but we can use it as an abdominal exercise to help with this posture control for the front side as well as we spin all the way around here. So putting the anchor point south. So again, as the head goes forward, the tailbone tucks under. As the head goes back, the tailbone goes back. If you're a belt buckle guy or gal, right, if we can imagine having this big belt buckle, you're going to turn so that you can see that belt buckle. Fourth exercise in our posture mechanics training program, phase 2, is a look left and look right with scapular elevation and depression. So this is going to be almost robotic. We're going to have a 1 and a 2 sort of count to this. So as we back away from the anchor point, and we'll do this in all 4 cardinal directions. So we'll have Kelly do just a couple of reps. She's going to go up with the shoulder blades really high, almost into her ears. And then she's going to retract, she's going to depress them, getting really long on top. And when she gets the in-range isometric here, she's going to go left and right. So all the attention is sort of in between the shoulder blades, but at the bottom part of them, right? So not at the top up here where the trap connects, or even in the middle, but we're looking to get them down and back. So she'll go up as high as she can. She'll then depress really hard. She'll probably recruit some lat in here, right? Trying to pull them down as if we're picking up something really heavy. And then we'll go east, south, and west in this show. So you can see where her shoulders start here, and she'll come up as high as they'll let them come, right? Big squeeze, and then she'll depress, and she'll use those things, the lats to pull the shoulder blades down. And when she has a nice sturdy base, she'll hit a left and a right. Looking south this time. Again, always making sure that when we're looking away from the anchor point, the chin stays down so we don't ride up and down with the shoulders. And then we have a nice solid base. We'll go left and go right. Last version here, looking west. You'll watch them come all the way up. And then everything underneath the shoulder blade will help pull them down. And again, I'm imagining as if I'm going to pick something really heavy up off the floor, really set the shoulder blades down and back, and then I go left and right over the top. Exercise 5 in our posture mechanics training program, phase 2, is going to be a diagonal with an external rotation. So we've got a bodyweight version and we've got a banded version here to sort of progress out. We'll always start the diagonals looking away from the anchor point. That sort of helps and assists to pull us up and back. So as we step out, we'll get a tension that's appropriate to us, right? We're then going to go into external rotation. So she'll pick her favorite arm and she's just going to spin the humerus, right, the big bone in the arm, out. We're going to tilt to that externally rotated side and then look down into that hand. We can see the iron neck gets on this 45-degree plane. So once we have established that, she'll then look up at the ceiling. With that downside hand is really the reference point. So as she comes back down, she'll look into that hand or beyond it, and then she's going to pick something up on the ceiling to get to. And then we'll start all the way over. So she'll bring this hand in, she'll spin the other hand in external rotation, squeezing the shoulder blade, doing her best to keep that right angle in the elbow. She'll tilt towards the downside hand on that 45-degree line, and then again, using the hand as a reference point. Down, and then again, if it helps to pick something on the ceiling for a reference point, that will work too. As long as it's not too bright or there aren't lights, those sort of things in your eyes. When we spin this around now, we'll have a bodyweight version and we'll have our banded version. So it starts the same. She'll pick her favorite side. That side's going to go out in an external. She'll tilt towards that hand, look down towards that hand, and then we're on that 45-degree line. Diagonals work a lot of stuff in the neck that runs asymmetrical. So not everything runs vertically or horizontally in your neck. We have lots of different angles, things that make lateral flexion and rotation possible at the neck. External rotation, tilt towards that side, look down into that hand, and then we're drawing a 45-degree line. If we want to add to this, we want to add a bit of resistance and a bit of scapular work, what we can do is we'll walk forward and grab our very light 5-pound band with our handle. Now with a bit of resistance, external rotation can be pretty tough at the shoulder, especially if we have rotator cuff issues or other things, even if it's just posture from sitting at a desk. So she'll work really hard to keep that arm tucked in, right? So we're holding on to her torso with her elbow. She'll go externally rotate. She'll tilt towards that banded side, and then we're back into that 45-degree line. So a lot of isometric work here for the shoulder blade, right? The rotator cuff, rear delt, and a lot of other things that hold our arm in place. So we're looking to do 3 sets of 10 repetitions. If we have a shoulder issue where this is sort of talking to us, right? If this is something that we feel is probably more beneficial to do, you can be asymmetric with your reps. If you had a shoulder surgery or a bad shoulder, right? We can do 10, 12, 15 repetitions on one side and save 10 for the other side. That's phase 2 of our posture mechanics training program. We're looking again to do about 3 sets of 10 repetitions per exercise and in each direction. We have some special cases there where we might be able to get into those external rotations and hold on to a few more things. But we're looking to graduate from phase 1 into phase 2 When we can do 3 sets of 15 repetitions in this program, 2 to 3 days a week, it's time to move to phase 3.